and welcome again to Ubuntu Rising. And my name is Patrick Ngugi, and with me here is Albina Hipp. And this is our second episode where we are discussing the effects of colonialism in Africa. You remember we said originally Africa was free. Then we got into chains, and eventually the chains were removed. But did we really become free? And at one time, Africa, while it was being divided, or before it was being subdivided by the Europeans out there, Africa was being described as a sleeping giant. Did Africa really wake up after that, or is it still asleep? So, welcome, Albina. We are here again to discuss these very weighty matters. Are we still asleep, by the way?
No.
Are we awake then?
We are awake, but
Okay.
For me, I would point out we are kind of dealing with the manifestation of the violence. And we're looking of the violence meted upon us, and we're looking for coping mechanisms. So again, with when we talk about violence and coping mechanisms, then we also realize there are many other syndromes that can come.
Yes.
We have post-traumatic stress syndrome. We have the Stockholm syndrome, many other syndromes that can come about. So what then happens is, because we are all trying to find a way of coping, of finding exactly who we are, exactly who our identity in the context of the globe and the significance of it, then others also take advantage, because we're also dealing with the hierarchy of power. Right? And if you look globally as we speak right now, the hierarchy of power is more economically driven.
Yes.
So therefore, those who of course made wealth out of our backs, made wealth from the ground we stand on, literally. No Africa, no world, right? So from the ground we stand on, they, of course, would not want us to come together and say, wait a minute, stop this now. We need to think of ourselves. We need to put ourselves first. If we put ourselves first, who will benefit? Isn't there this saying what? The fight between two elephants is the benefit of who?
The fight between grasshoppers, not elephants.
Oh yeah,
the fight between the elephant. It's when the elephant fight the grass.
Because those two actually come into play as we speak now. So when remember at one point the world had two superpowers.
The East and the West.
Elephants. Yeah, exactly. So the East, what were they? What was influencing them? Of course, is resources.
Yes.
Yes, because they were building their economies and they wanted to create a kind of like a first class kind of, living where the poor are rich. So then, and also their medical care is covered. All these are costs. So where would they get the funding for such things? Of course, it's by producing and selling, this is where Adam Smith comes in. So then, if all the resources, or where the resources can be found in plentiful in Africa, so they came and did their play where? In Africa. Even if you look, exactly. But even the Berlin Conference, what was it all about? It was also in the context of building empire. These empires needed resources.
Yes.
These kingdoms and empires needed to be, resources. So you wanted to show that you care about your people. So you offered them this, you offered them that vis-a-vis somebody else, where they compare each other. So, oh, if you belong to the Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth, then you are entitled to A, B, C, D, a specific standard of living. If you belong to the Americas, the same thing. There's a specific standard of living, But in all this, where were we? We were not in the inclusion. We were not included.
We were still asleep.
No. We were content and governing ourselves the way we knew how. Okay? And we were among ourselves, governing ourselves. But the resources that were needed were under our feet. And not only under our feet, our bodies. Because remember, we talk about this Spanish conquest. Who was this? Not Columbus. Somebody else went to tour the Latin Americas. And because they had not come across chicken pox and all these things, this person went to explore. I can't remember his name. And when he came back, he spoke of people who were living like this, who had the Mayan Empire, these things and all this. He wrote them all down. So when they raised funds to now go back, they found nobody. Why? It's because even his clothes was a contamination. He was carrying bacteria and viruses that the indigenous people did not develop immunity over. So just by one person exploring a continent, he almost wiped out all. So, but why was he exploring? What was the push factors? The push factors, of course, was, again, building empire, economy, This empire is living well. They're drinking off glass cups, golden plated cups and all this. Aren't they going to look for the El Dorado, the gold, the cave, place where of pure gold, gold was. So again, and all these things were economically based.
Okay.
Now, by that, they realized, when they realized that now there was land, which they could now exploit.
Yes.
And of course, by that time, with all this exploration, they had found that there were some plants or exotic goods that they could export and benefit. Remember, sugar was a thing for royalty. It was not the peasants could not afford sugar. In some places, even just the pineapple, the pineapple fruit was hired to be mantle or what are they called in English? Like a centerpiece of a dining table to show affluence. A pineapple. But you should see because the pineapple didn't grow in Europe, one. Then secondly, even for it to get to here, the ships took 9 months or a year, to get to. So also these fruits and this exotic food, which these sailors managed and explorers managed to get, when they didn't quite come, they didn't make it. And if they made it, they was given to their kings and the emperors to show them of all this exotic. So in that process, then things that were out of Europe were exoticized. And there was a demand, okay? Because if your kingdom could, all of you, including the peasant, the one who is sleeping on the streets, the peasant, can afford to eat a pineapple. Wow, what a kingdom, right? What leadership, you understand? So there was that competition going on. So, and that is, so when the demand for food also, the exotic plants get food, because also the traders were now realizing there's a lot of money, if you go and get a pineapple free,
free,
bring it.
Yes.
Bring it and you charge, I don't know how much. Scales of business,
Yes.
You will do it. So there was that demand, but then they realized now the demand was higher than the supply. So they needed to manufacture to create more. So there are no people. They tried the indigenous people there. They couldn't. They were all dying because they didn't have the immunity. So, and this is when we go to the Casas and the Supraveda debate, where they were talking of who has a redeemable soul. So based on that, then of course the Casas recommended that the African seems to have no redeemable soul. Of course, redeemable in the sense as could we be converted into Christianity? But if you look at all this, were we even ready to? Because we had our own belief systems that were functioning. So you don't come and tell me there is a God and I listen to you. Well, mine has been functioning since time immemorial. You understand? And also this, so, and then we also had the trans-Saharan trade. So the North, of course, had also taken into Islam. And so there was a lot of dynamics going on at that time where, of course, converting an African would have been a very difficult thing because we could not fully be immersed into the Christian doctrine unless by force. And even till today, we even have this saying where, you go to church, you leave all your tokens and all your amulets outside by a tree. You go into church, you sing, you pray, and then when you come out, you pick up your little and you go. But this is because for us, religion, these Abrahamic religions, is not us. It's not part of our living. We have to, in a way, imitate or assimilate into it. And I'm not bashing nobody, but you can imagine if you want to assimilate into Christianity, you know there are some specific kind of criterias that come to play. One, you must know how to read and write because you must know how to read the Bible. Read the Bible in what language?
It's got to be
So
translated into a
you want
language.
to use your mother tongue, but it has been translated, but you think you can get the origin from, so you go to English, then you find a way to Latin, then you understand. So then we didn't, well, we cannot use the example, deserts, where were they found? If you look at the doctrine, so each society, of course, formed their own way, their belief system based on the environment they are from.
Yes.
So for us, even Christianity is a little bit in a bit of a far context because when we talk of a drought or we talk of desert, for some it's unfamiliar. But for others who are within, like the Sahara Desert, it makes sense.
It's home.
But now for me, who is in the savannah, I throw something, it grows, or I fish. If you look at it also, some of this, also the stories in the Bible kind of, if you look, they kind of then pull a person based on the environment they are from.
Yes.
So again, but that is the person now and the influence and how they perceive religion and themselves in forming their own identity.
Sure.
But then now, so based on that, we were already ready for selling because we could not. They had to come with a very big sale. They had to sell this God of theirs very big. How? And even who was this? There's a colonial who kind of said, he was one of the first people who came to Kenya. And he said, how do you get the natives to pay hut tax? Hut tax.
Tax.
Yes, hut tax. When they have no need for it.
Yes.
They have no need for the money. So here came the British Imperial, and remember all these were companies. So they were making money. They were selling stock exchange, right? So this person who is coming is like a MD or a CEO. But
From
now
wherever
is
he comes from.
from wherever we use the Kenyan case, we talk about from England or London or whatever, and he is to take care of this asset.
Mm.
This asset, it's supposed to produce profits for who? Is it for that asset or is it for the motherland?
Mm.
You know, so he has to have reports that show that it's a profit-making enterprise.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
So, first of all, it has to be self-sustaining. So, what
Mm.
do? They impose hard tax. You go to someone who has built the hut themselves from, and the land was of the ancestor they were given. Then you tell them to pay a tax
For what?
for your hut. For
Mm.
what?
Mm.
And then you're showing them some little coins and saying, or cowrie shells and saying, this is what you'll pay with. What for? They
And how
eat
do you
from
get
the
it?
earth. They,
How do you get
and
that
how
coin?
to, yeah. So then he had to, it's actually a book. He had to then look for ways to force the natives, as
To
he
go to
says,
work
to go to work
in order
to
to get
then
a
get enough
coin,
to pay what?
the tax.
Now, if that is tax, what about religion? If
Okay.
someone came and said
Because
convert, huh?
because that is tax to the whatever, to the company or to the government.
Mhm. Mm.
But in church, there's something else that we are made to pay.
It's called the tithe, yes.
Yes.
Now, if the government was or the company that came was having an issue,
Mm.
is it this air you're trying to sell? Sorry to say, but it's this being which is up there,
Yeah,
and
there's an
we all
interesting.
had these beings.
There's a,
So then it's how then, of course, then we did not have redeemable souls because even though they tried to convert us, we would
mm,
still continue with carrying our amulets. When
mm,
things got bad, we reverted into our
yes,
own,
our own
our
gods.
own, yes, and our own beliefs, which
And we
were
are going
socialized
back. People are
into.
gradually going back there. They've never
Of
left.
course, no, because there you go. Because again, where is where does language come from? Where does history come from? So if
Mm,
you want to really find out who you are,
yes.
hmm,
And that
like
is one question somebody always ask when they start getting conscious when they are growing up. Who am I? Where do I
exactly,
come from?
yes. Hmm?
Yeah,
So why do we have an
and we
English name, another name, and another name?
yes.
So already even in our naming, we are already still
Mm,
grappling and trying to cope
yes.
with a history which we are not even part of.
And it's interesting because you go to Asia, you go to China, you go to Japan, they have their own names. It's only in Africa where we have Arabic names or
Mm-hmm.
Muslim names and Christian
Mm-hmm.
names.
Ah,
And
then now you
our own names, our African names are
yes,
secondary.
yes. And even by the way, your whoever calls you on what name, you will know who they are, where they are from.
Yes.
So if someone uses your Christian name, then you know this is now this is this is also the dual conscious or the dual personalities
Mm,
that Africans or I'll also borrow from the Black American scholars, the
mm,
dual personalities that black for them they say black people, but also we say Africa people carry.
mm,
Because who are you? Who are you really?
mm,
You are you like now I'll use an example, Albina. Where is the name from?
mm,
Where has it come from? Where is it derived from? It's a Latin name. It means white. White. It's a saint. Saint Albina. Uh-huh. Who was that? So you can already see, you can,
mm,
if you analyze this individual as me, you
mm,
can go and at one point there was Christianity.
mm,
Christianity of what? Maybe of saints. Saints come from, isn't it, the Roman Catholicism? So
mm,
there
mm,
you go. There you can find me. But
mm.
is that me really?
No,
Am I the people, I don't want to say it really is almost bad, but am I really an Italian or I don't know where the saint comes from. Am I from there? You know,
I
if
remember, I remember some of us, like me, when we started growing up, I became an altar boy.
Mhm.
At the time I became an altar boy, we were taught to recite prayers in Latin. And many of us thought those days that Latin is what is a language you speak in heaven.
See,
Otherwise, why learn it?
yeah. And even you don't even know exactly what it's all about. And here
Yes.
you are. So now, as you go as Patrick, if you put your name on a piece of paper and write Patrick,
Mhm.
what does the name say? Where are you from? Patrick is Saint Patrick. So
Ireland.
Patrick, there you go. So straight away, then here you come.
There's something else you said earlier on about
Yes.
when these guys came from over there,
Yes.
and there was a lot of resources and minerals under our feet,
Still are.
and still are. But let's speak about those days, because these days we are aware that there are minerals.
Yes.
When these
This is
guys
why,
came, were we
yeah,
aware that we have stuff underneath?
we had stuff, but you see, this part of us.
Mm.
We
And it was
grew
no big
new.
deal.
It was us. So
Mm.
maybe it was considered either, if it was either from the gods, it had some meaning. You
Mm.
understand? There was
Mm.
a way we had also had to, because it's in our environment, we had to
Mm.
figure out how to
Mm.
handle the minerals that we had in place,
Yeah.
right?
And
But
talking about the elephants fighting and the grass getting hurt,
mm,
it becomes worse when the elephants come together in agreement, because then the grass is in even more danger.
now this is where we are at right now.
Mm.
The
Yes.
elephants have come together.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they have come together. They have sold each other this indoctrination. It's not nice to use it, but of racial hierarchy, right? And they are playing on this grass, which has the locusts. Where do locusts are they found? They're found in the grass. Remember when we used to play looking for locusts? You were looking for grass, isn't it? So these elephants are now on the grass where the locusts are.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
while they're fighting for this grass and the
Mm.
ground, these locusts are also fighting.
Mm. Mm. Among themselves.
Bas kunguru ndasa ni nani bas?
Kunguru.
I'm sorry. Then you have, I'm now kind of, it's like really kind of breaking it down. It's so
Mm.
general, so it has very many holes people can poke into it.
Mm.
But then here comes who? Uh, we have bilateral relations where we say we are not going to interfere in how you govern yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You name the money you want.
Mm.
We don't care whether you are corrupt to put it in your 10,000 accounts in Europe. We don't care,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
We get your resources. We need to get to those resources because
Mm.
now we have a big demand for them from our
Mm.
industries.
Mm.
And we are tired of using the European as a middleman.
Mm. You come
So,
directly.
and your people have been fighting. You've said, no, 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 no. Okay, you have found your independence, but you still have what they need, what the
Mm.
world needs.
Mm.
So what do we do? We will come, no questions asked. Name your price. It is
Mm.
put in US dollars. It's put in your pocket,
Mm.
you know,
And
and
if and if and
it's that.
if you don't agree with them, they look for another guy who opposes you and maybe
It's
assassinate you.
gone. Yeah, and it's gone. So then now what happens is these elephants are now aiming at the locust. Then there's someone, the crow is also aiming at the locust
Worrying.
because the
Mm.
crow, exactly.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So how much in danger are
Mm.
we?
And you can look at places like Nigeria with Biafra War because
Yeah.
of the oil,
Mhm.
Congo because of the minerals,
Yeah,
Sudan,
and
I
look,
think there's something else in Sudan there.
and
Countries
look,
countries that are very rich
yes, but
in
also
resources.
we also have to talk about the green, the carbon print. Aren't there islands in New Delta in Nigeria where the oil spill destroyed everything? So once the elephants have fought, the locusts have picked each other up, the crow has had his fill. What will be left for the eggs of the locust? Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. Look at Zambia. Is it Zambia? There's this
copper belt.
Yes, the copper belt. The lead on the soil is so high that it's creating, lead poisoning. But lead poisoning in children, what does it do? It affects them mentally.
Yes.
So then now there's a whole generation of children who have been exposed to lead poisoning. So they now have mental challenges. Which now look, those children are still growing. They're not put on stone. They will become adults. They will want to make an income. What will happen? We told you long before Supravedas, in the 1550s, these black people are not smart. Here, can you hold a pen? No. Are they going to look at the history as to why that child or that human being is having issues? Environment is key. So when we look at Africa as it is, we also have to then look ahead. How do we want our future children to be? Do we want them to be enslaved again? Because we are heading there. On paper, we are free, but are we really?
Are we really?
Are we really? How much do most of the African nations owe European banks? So then they put little money, charge incredible interest rates. Your generation, my generation, our children's generation, our great-grandchildren, our great-grandchildren will still be paying $1 per every cent that was sent. I don't know how many years.
And we are paying through the minerals, which they are also stealing from there.
So then when do we find our freedom? And yet we're still going through when it's manifesting, we're still going through the trauma, we're still manifesting the effects of colonialism, of slavery. Now, because why? We are naming it. It is now tangible. We can see it. We are literate. We have the internet. All you have to do, type, Google, go. You will find everything you wanted to find. Before, it was hearsay. Before, it was, that village, someone was picked. Nobody knew where they went. Nobody knew what kind of life they lived. No one understood their journey. Now, we have those. So we know what slavery is all about and the definition of it. But in our own situation, and this is one thing which I kind of think is important to highlight. Look at what happens to the African women who have then gone and been sold into slavery in the Arabias. Isn't that slave trade? So are they slaves? So how can we say then slavery was abolished? It was abolished for whom and to whom? And what are the conditions that are making this young lady decide it's better to be house help, be the concubine, be I don't know what, and then also be food because once they finish with you, they throw you die. Food for their wildlife and their pets. Because they don't see you as human. So, and even if you convert into Islam, it doesn't save you. And this is what Malcolm X talked about. And who else? Can't quite remember his name now. Where he was and he was a Muslim, but the black the black Muslims.
National
And he
Islam.
found his way to, he found his way to Mecca. And this Brotherhood of Islam. But he was still put at the back. He was still treated as a nobody. Is when
in Arabia.
Was dead. Yeah.
In Arabia?
Yes. So in America, you're sold this Brotherhood of Islam. We pray together, everything. So he said, this is the best way to go. Right?
So when you went to
they
Mecca?
don't see race, they don't see color. Oh, great. So joined and recommended anybody who could, this is the best way to go. Let's go to Allah. They went for, what is this, the Hijjah, whatever, Hajj.
Hajj.
Back of the line, stay there. Let everything else that is fairer than you come forward. Created a crisis. This is then where I then borrow from Dr. Henry Clark, where he then calls them, and he calls all this, explains, because of African studies, he has a way of explaining how then this comes to be. So, well, I'm just giving them so anybody can as well Google, type, and find their way through. So here we are, dealing with the effects of colonialism, aware of where we would be if we were who we are, seeing how it's affecting our environment, our living standards, everything. And we haven't even, that's physical, we haven't even touched psychological. And then our identity. So who is who? We have the Hollywood effect, that's what it's called. You can take a look outside, you see people driving big cars, clean roads, everything. Who is keeping that clean? Those are people, cheap labor. Right? They're selling you a dream. So you want your roads to be clean as well. But there's this disconnect which you are wondering, why there and why not here? You are literally, your ground, like for some places, their ground is paved in gold. All they need to do is scratch the top a little. You understand? But they don't see it. They are seeing that one in Hollywood. But then, so then we start looking out, not looking in. But how many are looking out and how many are looking in? How many are saying, hey, please, let's look inside. Let's not sell ourselves short. Let's not sell our land short. But of course, everyone has a price. Yes. One. And history has shown, if you refuse, you go. Patrice Lumumba, gone. Sankara, gone. Like that. So how free are we?
So how free are we? That's a very good question, which we shall continue asking. And as we do, we'll find more as we look within ourselves. We are run out of time. And we thank you for having been with us throughout this recording. And join us again as we go further, particularly in finding out the effects of colonialism. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure to be with you. My name is Patrick Ngugi, and I've been with Albina Hipp. Thank you.